Heavenly Father, I want to come before you now as a board here in Weston County, thanking you for everything that you've provided for us, asking for your wisdom and your guidance through the decisions being made for this county. Please help us to adhere to your ways and be thankful and praise you in all things. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Hour being 9 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order.
We didn't pray.
No, we didn't.
Did we? Okay, good.
Scott, would you do the honor to lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
These are the signed. These are the ones that need to be again. Well, we had to close out the first of June.
Okay, yep, no, she
I'm
did
still
give me
working
these.
with those,
Okay.
but if you want to.
Yep, okay.
Whole bunch of things.
Okay.
Next, everyone has an agenda in front of them. Is there any need to make changes or additions to the agenda?
Yes, I want to add to the agenda a discussion about emails between commissioners and the county clerk, please.
Under where?
Under what we put it under, old, new business.
Good. Are there any other changes to the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Have a motion, properly seconded, to approve the agenda as amended. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carried. Is public comment. We have a public comment this morning. Hearing no public comment, we will move on. You're up, Scott.
Well, morning again. Guys, I guess that, like I said, I kind of mentioned to you guys last meeting, and I talked to you, Garrett, before that. And we all know there's a problem up there on that Kenwood Drive corner. I mean, I went back through my deals and I looked, when they hit that fence that night, that was 2 weeks short of actually, that's 3 times inside the 12-month period. So, I mean, that was so there's got to be some sort of solution we can do up there, guys. I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know what you guys think, but I guess I'm here asking you guys to kind of help see what we can do to control the traffic. I know that the sheriff's had extra patrols up there, and from talking to the neighbors, it has helped, but like I said earlier, they can't stay up there. I mean, the county's too big. You can't expect them to stay up there.
Or is it always getting hit during the night?
It seems to be sometimes, but it doesn't really matter. I've caught a few of them during the daytime that have hit it during the day. The traffic up there, that thing kind of turned into a speedway up there. In about the last 4 or 5 years, it's got really bad. I mean, you guys know when they put that guardrail back up on the backside down there by coming around, Crabtree's place, they weren't even done building that before it got hit. So, I mean, but and then the same night they did that deal with mine, they wiped out a telephone pedestal over in front of Craigle's place. So, I mean, it's just not, I guess that corner is just a bad corner, but the whole area up there, I don't know if we need to speed limit signs or turn that intersection that's actually Painted Hills turning onto Kenwood. I don't see why we can't turn that into a 3-way stop without a bunch of a headache, at least there. I don't know. I guess what I'm asking is for you guys' opinion and help, whatever we can do to kind of help solve this problem and get it as cheap as for everybody else can. Because I've got here's the last ticket for this one is $9,000 for a contractor, so that's $30,000 a year I've spent on it. If I can't catch them, I got, that's quite a bit of money.
And Scott, you're mainly wanting to keep them off your fence. So
Well, I'd like them to kind of control that whole area is a problem up there. It's not just my place now. I mean, if you look at the traffic up there and you can watch them, they do it both ways too. They've coming around on Aaron Logan's place. They've been into Marchand's fence. They've even around the corner, Norton's. I mean, they've hit everything up there. I mean, that corner is a major problem, yes, but it's not the only problem up there. The whole thing is kind of turned into a freeway, and like I said, I don't know what the right answer is, guys. I really don't.
So, and it's not an effort to kick it down the road, because I lived up there, as you already know, but, and it has turned into a bit of a freeway, it always has, and your fence seems to take the brunt of it. But my question would be, I know we talked to our road and bridge supervisor a little bit, and their studies would have to be done to put speed limit signs up, those type of things. But what I'm wondering is if we could maybe get our sheriff's input on what would help him slow that down without, having people up there all the time. And I haven't talked to him about it, but I'm wondering maybe if you have, or if
I've
you
reached
him in to say, hey, what can we do up here that would help him out?
I've reached out to Brian, but he hasn't contacted me back, which I guess I called a couple of days after that last deal, but he was busy, because that inmate escaped. But so I guess but I've reached out to him I haven't heard back from him. Let's put it that way.
I know we brought up the stop sign possibility, but there was some issues with that too. I mean, we're bound within certain requirements of what we can do like immediately, which isn't to say, hey, we're not willing to help. It's just to say we need to come up with a plan, maybe talk with the sheriff. Maybe he has some ideas that can help us figure out what would help him enforce slowing that down. Because you definitely have a problem up there. I don't think anyone here is denying that. We're just trying to figure out what the right answer is.
Well, and I guess that's where I'm at. I'm wanting just the good for everybody, not just me that's up there, but for everybody. It's not. I'd like to not have to fix that fence for 12 months straight, but
Well, is there any chance that we could, again, I'm not trying to pay come back again, but can we invite our sheriff to come to the next meeting and sit and see what his input in it, put our heads together and maybe come up with it? Because even today, I think our chairman would agree, there's nothing that we can do like immediately
Right.
without doing some things that would probably get us in trouble. So,
Well, and I would expect, no, I mean, I'd expect that. I don't expect, this just to be a
well, I'm not pushing
simple little
it.
deal. And I understand what you're saying. And yeah, I wouldn't have any problem with, if we got Mr. Cullivan in here to have his opinion on it. He's got to fight it too. It's his guys that get the constant phone calls. So,
Well, I think after you left, we did talk to our road and bridge supervisor on some ideas that he had too. But it's again, we're trying to work within the parameters that we have, and I think it would be important to bring Brian in and say, hey, is there something we can do here?
well, I'm not against that.
I think our first step is have Jimmy reach out to the state, do a study on that, because they may even have suggestions of what to do further down to maybe alleviate the problem even coming up to there. They'll do it all. We'll have to do a survey all the way from basically the Fairgrounds Road all the way to Morrissey Road through there. They can do their study. They usually do that through the University of Wyoming.
Yeah, and that's fine. Whatever it takes to get some sort of resolution going up there. I don't expect it to happen overnight, but
Well, and I don't want to minimize your loss either.
as long as we're trying to do something to come up with the collective good for this, I'm happy with it. I mean, if we can get him involved in it, and if Road and Bridge needs to be here too, I don't know. Whatever we can do to kind of get everybody's on, get the best opinion, guys. That's all I'm asking for.
So I would move to.
We'll get the ball rolling on having the survey or the study done on that road, and then reach out to Brian, see if he has any input for short term.
Yeah.
Right now. So reach out to Brian on that.
We'll add it to the next thing, so that we're not leaving you hanging.
No, and that's fine, guys. I understand that. Don't get me wrong. I totally understand it. It's going to take time and the right efforts and the right channels. It's like, when I talked to Garrett about this to start with, whatever it takes to do it right to get at least something come up with for the community that's up there, I guess I should say. And the bad thing of it is my fear of it right now is somebody's going to wind up there that ain't going to walk away from it.
Right.
And I don't want that. That's what I don't want.
Okay. Well, we will reach out to Brian on that. Reach out to Jimmy, get started on the study on that road.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll keep it going for you.
I appreciate it, guys. And anything I can do to help on our side of it too. I'll do whatever we got to,
Okay.
just to help resolve it.
Well, I appreciate your efforts at keeping your fence nice too. You fix it as soon as it really goes down. So.
Well, I try to, because it's an eyesore right there if you don't, because everybody drives by it. So it's I've tried to keep that place up so it don't look trashy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. See it.
While you have a little break in the action here, Pam, our mayor, did post a comment, and I can't see all of it right now and I'm not even going to try because I mess up the video whenever I do that. discussing about she would like to see this move forward as far as the district for the ambulance, an ambulance district, and looking at the percentages of calls within Newcastle and the calls within the county itself, and possibly get together with the city council as far as how do you split up in an ambulance district, how do you split up all of that between the county and the city. So that's just something for the future that our mayor has asked me to pass on. I'm not going to break the video, so you guys are still on candid camera.
Ready?
Yep, she just walked in the door.
Morning, Vicki.
Good morning.
Morning.
Vicki Heyman with Weston County Extension. And, we're up and running now, because I was going to say I tried to get on and wasn't on earlier. So. There you go. Thank you. Well, I think I let you know, and if I didn't, I'm going to let you know that, I submitted the cookbook for National Award on baking, and I won first place state, first place regional, and that's with 13 other states in the United States it's Wyoming state, south and west. And then I got second place nationally for the whole nation.
Congratulations.
For that, thank you. And then for my food preservation, I don't know if you've noticed this one, I got first place state, second place national, second place regional, third place national for this award. And so they contacted me, and the NEAFCS annual conference is in Providence, Rhode Island. I haven't been to a national conference since 2017, and we went to Montana. And they're not in our neck of the woods too often, obviously. So anyway, I need to let them know whether I'm going to come or not to receive my awards. And so, of course, there's not quite enough money in the budget to fund all of it. But the registration's around $450 for early bird, and the hotel rates are around $179 per night, which I've seen worse and I've seen better, but considered it's on the east, that's not too bad. They provide a couple lunches and an award banquet dinner that's included in the cost of the registration. Airfare, I was trying to look, and I'm estimating $1,200. It may be slightly cheaper than that. Of course, then the motel, to get to the motel, I'm not sure if the motel provides for transportation or not. Some do, some don't. And so Extension at the university could possibly do support of up to $2,000 if I can apply for some association money, $500, and for training funds they would give me $1,500. So, but in order to go, I would need additional money. So I came to see if you would be interested in supporting me with one-time monies. Years ago, we used to have a line item, and we had training funds. And when things got really tough, we no longer have training funds in our budget. So what I've done in the past is what I'm doing today. If there's some place I have the ability to go, then, and I think it's worthwhile adventure. They've got some conferences on food safety, which has really been a big issue around, but also on food preservation, and that's even been an even bigger issue for Wyoming and a lot of interest. In fact, when I do my reports, that's where I get a lot of individual contacts, whether it's email or phone calls, is through food preservation. So it would be a really good way to update and make sure I'm on top of all of my knowledge. So that is what I'm here to discuss with you.
You're asking basically the county like 865 or up to 1,000?
Probably. It's real estimate, and, you know, because I just don't know until I definitely purchase an airline ticket or do whatever. But I would say approximately in there, around 1,000, give or take.
Vicki, what's the criteria on the possibilities of the support from UW Extension of 2,000? What would be the criteria in you receiving that, or maybe not?
I'm pretty sure I will get it.
Okay.
They allow 1,500 for professional training. And I really haven't used that in the last couple of years because a lot of what I've done has been locally and around here. And since I haven't gone anywhere for, major for several years, I'm sure that it's a shoe-in. I just have to fill out the form, and then I also do, when I come back, there's like an evaluation, questions, what you learned, whatever. But when I talk to the associate director, it's pretty much a given. And then with the association, the 500, since I've won a national award, they'll give me 500. If I was presenting, which I didn't know I'd get the award, they would give up to 1,000. But I know for sure 500 because I'm the only one that won. And in our professional association, we haven't had anyone go in several years. So they haven't spent any money that they possibly aligned to the family and consumer sciences areas.
Well,
It's pretty definite.
congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
An awesome
Quite an honor, because
Yeah.
there's hundreds of usually people that submit, so.
Well, it's very impressive
So thank
to
you.
look at. It's very impressive.
The book is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I said to look at. I haven't cooked out of it yet, but it's really fun to look at.
Being that she doesn't know, I mean, there's some approximate values. Have we ever paid off a receipt up to a certain amount as far as the maybe expense of what that might be?
As
Approve up to a certain amount, paid upon
Oh, yeah,
receipt.
we've done that. We've done approval up to an amount, a
Right.
dollar amount. What we're gonna run into is we're gonna be into next year's budget.
Right.
Like this.
Right,
Uh,
because I wasn't notified in advance for the, for the upcoming budget, so it's not in there. I didn't.
looking at this, we could maybe, like the registration, that could be done out of this year's budget,
Right,
and maybe, that's,
because it's getting close.
yeah. And I guess how we could do this clean with the budget break like that, where it's gonna be coming in there.
Or could it just all come out of the new budget? I don't know what's.
Our new budget's not looking good.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay,
not.
that's my next question
Yeah.
on once.
The new budget is not looking,
Okay,
as of right now, it is not looking good. It's gonna be a pretty hard time, to watch what we do next year.
mhm.
Trying to think.
Vicki?
We could do the,
And I will go back, but it might only be, I get a scholarship because I won such high places. So I will double check also, because I know they might, I'll double check. If I recall, the email said, I think they'll give me $300 off the registration, so I think it'll be only $150 then.
how we could get this.
Can it be paid now?
The registration?
Yeah,
Yes,
we can do it now.
yes, I could, if I'm allowed to use the county credit card.
Yeah, we could
It's
authorize
for-
a certain amount and pay it through the card and then carry it that way.
Just-
Make sure we did.
We just wanna make sure we get it out of this year's budget.
Right.
I mean, it can be.
That's a good idea.
Or I'm thinking
And then
over.
otherwise, the only thing I can think of is, I don't know about airline unless I could get tickets right away, I guess. I
Could
don't know how that works.
the university reimburse the county back for parts? Could they do that?
It would probably come to her though.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know.
cause I'm trying to think to get the most bang for our buck, cause it,
Mhm.
The easiest way would be what Becky suggested.
yeah, but that's only
Or
gonna cover,
her room,
that we could do that.
but it won't be charged.
Yeah, it won't be
though,
charged.
until
See, it's
that
not
one
charged
works.
till.
Right.
The only one,
And this is
the two we
September,
could do is like either the airline tickets or the
But the
registration.
airline tickets wouldn't be charged either until she goes.
Or are they not?
I don't think.
Yeah, no,
I-
because when I just bought tickets
Yeah, they
for our
don't have-
trip, it was done immediately.
Oh,
and then
okay,
they can
right
return
away.
it, so
I
they'll
was
charge
gonna
that
say,
right away.
I would think so, but I didn't.
Yeah, they'll
I
get
haven't
that right
traveled.
away.
I haven't
So
traveled for several
those
years.
instead of her registration, that would make more
But-
sense,
yeah,
because that's more.
that-
And it would cover.
That would cover our-
And I've got, if it's only 150, which I'm pretty sure that that's what the email said, I've got that in my line item
Yeah.
still in my,
Well, if we cover your airline tickets, that should give you more than enough out of what you're talking about to take care of the rest.
I think it should do a good job. Because even if it costs a little bit more, I would have within my line item a little bit of wiggle
And
room
I'm just looking at your estimate.
Yeah.
for next year's
Right.
budget.
That way we can get out of this year's budget. Cleaned up that way. Then the rest of it, you can put it up.
Because we'll go into our 13th month in July, and that's when the credit card bill will go.
Yeah, they'll charge that card right away for those tickets, though.
Okay.
And it might even be a little bit more reasonable purchasing those tickets now
That-
than
I
waiting.
kind of gave you a sort of a,
That's a good point.
the
too.
1,200 it was on the high, a little bit on the higher side, because I didn't, just don't know with fuel going up a little bit and going down a little bit, so
The sooner you buy them, the cheaper it'll be.
that's
For
what
sure.
I thought, so.
What's the pleasure?
I would move to authorize her to use the credit card to purchase up to $1,200 in airline tickets for her event.
Second.
The money to come out of
That's what
finance.
that's what I was financial.
Okay. We have a motion properly seconded to allow Vicky to use the county credit card to buy her airline tickets for the Nationals in Rhode Island in the amount of up to $1,200 to come out of financial admin. Is there any other discussion on that?
Obviously, if you could save us a little money and get them, that would be beneficial, because the budget would be rough.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion carried.
Thank you very much for your support.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you for representing us.
Vicky,
It's
Awesome way.
quite the honors.
our mayor says congratulations,
Oh,
all
well.
in red with 3 exclamation
Yes,
points.
Thank you. And then I know next, you had Erin, I think she sent you a letter, so I just thought I would report back to her. I'm not sure, I don't even know what she asked you guys, so.
It's behind that one from Vicky.
All right. Is she asking for more money or just beer?
She's asking for, this was her travel costs, and she's
Okay.
asking for her wish list.
Okay. Yeah, she's got, just under $1,000 remaining. She wanted to get some other supplies, and she did use her money on travel for 4-H stuff. It will be staying within her overall allocated budget for this current year. It's just letting her move some money around.
Yep.
Under the highlighted part here, maybe up top.
Make a motion or
You know,
no?
we need to address it, you know, if you wanna allow her to do that.
I'm okay with it as long, I mean, she's keeping within her budget, we're just moving money around, so I'm fine with it.
You know, over the past, we've kind of frowned on people wanting to spend everything down to the last penny, you know. If they carry over, we, like, you know, it's, say, if we're more favorable to give them help the next year if they run short on something, if they don't spend everything down to the last penny on that. Coming in here, she's been here now 2 years.
She completed her first year March 31st.
Yeah, so she's
She's
done her
starting her
second year.
second year.
And I think she's done a pretty good job about turning the 4-H program and
Around.
promoting it more, so.
She's done a great job.
What's the board's pleasure? Do you wanna allow her to do that?
I make a motion to allow 4-H to move what funds are necessary within budget to meet their expenses.
Second.
Good motion, proper second to that. We'll clean that motion up a little bit. To allow Erin to spends her funds as she sees fit
Within budget.
within her allocated budget.
And that dollar amount is specified, correct?
Yeah,
Is that the 976 or 981?
well, she has,
That's what's remaining.
she's got 981 remaining in her travel line item, and she wants to use it over on the supply list. And she won't use quite all of it there.
Okay.
710.
Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion carried.
Thank you. I'll let her know that. Are we having budget meetings? Yeah.
Workshop.
Not yet.
Okay. Just-
We're done.
The board's gonna meet this afternoon and
Yeah.
then we'll go from there.
After we table
Uh,
that,
looking good.
Okay, and
Sorry.
then
change
we'll,
things around.
Terry is here, so we'll see you this afternoon and maybe some of you tomorrow.
And we'll order, Nathan's gonna pay for the pizza tonight.
Oh, okay.
So I just gotta figure out, how many pizzas to order, but he's
Okay.
gonna pay for it.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. So we'll go set her up this afternoon.
I'm gonna try to be there between 3 and 3:30 because I have a lot of stuff that I printed off for her.
Okay, and then she's got notebooks, and then we also have, I've got some beverages. I didn't know if anyone needed or wanted, so we've got some leftover things I'm gonna
Okay,
throw
that'll
in the
work.
refrigerator with some popping water and
Okay.
lemonade, so.
And I'll have the pizza there probably between 5 and 5:30, so that'll work.
If there's anything else, just let us know. So thank you for your support again,
you,
really
Vicki.
appreciate that.
Congratulations on your
day.
awards again.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes.
you. Yeah, I'm excited. I've not ever been to one of them, so we'll see. I don't know what the East is gonna be like, but it'll be an adventure. So. Oh, yeah, have you been there?
I'm from Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, oh, okay.
It's one state above you.
Next
Yep,
up
yep.
is the Dewey Road
Yep,
Number
see
2
ya.
Bridge Replacement Bid Award. We opened the bids last meeting. For that, there, we sent them back to Ingrid Miller. They looked them over. So,
And this was-
okay. I will let her read. I'll pass it down so I can read.
Are the bids looking good?
We only had the one bid last time. Yeah, everything was good on it, but we just wanted, when we do bids like that, like we need new commissioners, when we open bids like that, we usually don't, we very seldom ever award them that day. We send them back That way the engineer over the project could check tabulations to make sure everything is within line, so there's no hidden costs, stuff like that. And Ingrid Miller has reviewed it. That's their letter coming back from them, their letter of recommendation. And we also have a notice of award. After we had a chance to look at that letter from Ingrid Miller.
What is riprap?
Riprap is the big rock that they place on slopes to prevent erosion. You can have riprap from anywhere from 4 inch to 12 to 16, depends how. Like when you see you go fishing on the lake at the dam, the big rocks coming down that's riprap. Okay. What's the board's pleasure on this job?
Should we make a motion to approve your signature on that? It doesn't look like there's enough for everybody, so.
Yeah, just for chairman's signature. Well, basically, need a motion to award the bid to Timberline Services for the good of the project.
I make a motion to award the bid to Timberline Services with the signature of the chair on there as approval.
Second.
We have a motion properly second to award The Dewey Road number 2 bridge project to Timberline Services in the amount of $377,000. Any other discussion? I would make note there that the engineer's estimate was a $315 that didn't include the riprap. With the riprap included, it would be $332, so they were fairly close to the engineer's estimate. So, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed say nay. Motion carried. Everybody notice that? Moving right along today. Other than 11, we need Michael here. He won't be here till our break. Next is the voluntary assessment from the NACO Western Interfaith Region National Center for Public Lands and Counties. I forwarded everyone that. One of the other things that's coming out of this is they will looking to fight, help us keep our PILT money. Comes from basically PILT is payment in lieu of taxes, and what that is we don't receive tax money off of the state and federal land that's in our county. So that comes. There's formulas they use to help the counties out to have the state and federal land. That's one of the big fights they're going to be is help keeping that. And actually they'll be doing that with it on the national level. They're going to the NACO will help fight for that. And if you've been following much with NACO, they do a lot on the national level for us. We've had a lot of involvement on the national level from Wyoming. Commissioner Bowsman, Joe Bowsman, he just retired. He got off the boards. He's been very instrumental in back in Washington fighting for us with NACO on that. Keeping the grazing open on the public lands and things like that. So, and what they're asking is this voluntary assessment is 1% of the tribal consistency funds allocated to us. We can't actually take the money out of that fund because that was earmarked. Absolutely no lobbying out of that money. So we'll have to come up with money from somewhere else. But we did bring that money in as revenue replacement. So it's pretty unrestricted other than just a few things how we use that money when we decide to spend it. So, I guess moving forward, does anyone else have any comment or input on this? What's the board's decision to do?
What's your thoughts on that? Have you been involved with it?
I think it's 1% of what we're getting going to the national level with all the counties across the nation. They're looking at a $15 million fund to support this on the national level. And our share would be just under $5,000, which is a pretty small amount going into the $15 million to fight on the national level for us. I think it's a very good project, moving forward with it. The other counties, most of them are getting involved with it. And we were just doing it on a percentage. The counties that received a lot of money are kicking in more. The ones that received less. I kind of like dues and stuff that are assessed on percentages because it's fairer, the smaller amounts.
Correct. So we just need a motion to approve this? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we need, if we want to move forward with it or not. It's a voluntary assessment. It's going to move forward whether we help with our little share or not.
Without information, but, so I move to make a motion to approve the use of the tribal funds in the amount of 1% towards the NACO, I don't know what to call it.
I would ask you to strike that motion,
Okay.
because you said in there, use the tribal funds. We cannot use the
Right,
tribal funds.
Right, that's what I'm saying, we need some help with that.
We want to word that to do a voluntary assessment of 1%, equal to 1% of our tribal funds allocation.
Okay, so moved.
I'm not gonna try to repeat that again.
Trying to make it correct. That's how we have to do that.
Okay, so moved.
Would the motion maker also want to pay it off this invoice that we have received?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Do we have a second? Do we need more time to look it over?
That's what I'm going to.
Okay, give you time to look it all over. And we do actually, Wyoming does have representation at NACO on the national level. The commissioner from, I think Lincoln County is maybe the vice chair on the national level. We do have Wyoming commissioners actually on board at the national level.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Yes, please.
Where is this going to be located? Is it, I mean, like, is this a new building?
No,
Is
it's
this
no
a new-
building. This is the NACO group, National Certified County Officers.
Right,
It's still within them. It's basically setting them up a fund to pull money out of for lobbying on the national level.
okay.
Yeah, there's no new employees, no
Or
buildings,
raising
no
money.
nothing. It's just
Okay.
basically giving them funds to lobby on the national level.
On behalf of our
Yeah.
portion of the, on behalf of Weston County.
Yeah, they'll lobby for the,
Public lands.
Yeah.
Second.
with a motion properly seconded to do the voluntary assessment in the amount of $4,965.08, which is equal to 1% of our local assistance and tribal consistency funds allocation to be used on the national level with NACO. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All
Aye.
opposed say nay. Motion carried. Next is Chairman's signature on resolution 2023-14, approving consolidation of the Weston County Solid Waste District and the Weston County Solid Waste District.
And that's just eliminating.
Basically, what it will do, as it will be effective the end of June, it will put the Central Weston County Solid Waste District in with the Weston County Solid. So we'll have, instead of the two districts, the Little one at Osage and the county, they will all be into one. It will get rid of basically the commissioners. We will give up the rights as being board members on the Osage District, and we'll turn that all over to the Weston County Solid Waste District.
So, I again, I'll make a motion to consolidate the Weston County Solid Waste District and the Central Weston County Solid Waste District into one entity. That's what I would say, right?
Yep.
With approval of
Yeah,
the
basically,
chair.
the resolution will allow that. You're right. Motion needs to allow chairman's signature on resolution 23-14.
I second it.
We have a motion properly seconded to approve the chairman's signature on resolution 2023-14, consolidation of the solid waste districts in Weston County. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Now we have almost an hour break for Michael. Old business. As in regards to the minutes, we want to correct by resolution. Becky researched off the tape that what they're questioning in the minutes, couldn't find it on the tape, so we could actually just correct the minutes of that date by motion. Just get them corrected that way, striking that one sentence, that one phrase, sentence out of the minutes. It's just how the board wants to move forward with that.
We need to make a motion to correct the minutes of that day in accordance with what actually happened and so. So that, to match what actually happened in the event.
It was, Michael, there was a sentence in there that he had stated that felt that the board did not do anything wrong. This is the tape, we couldn't find it on the tape, so we can actually correct that, strike that from the minutes and correct them by just a motion and a second. We have a motion to do that.
I second.
We have a motion properly seconded to correct the minutes of
November 2nd or the 16th? It was the 2nd.
I think it was the second,
All one motion.
2021.
November 2nd.
of the November 2nd, 2021 minutes. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. That was quick and easy. New business, meeting procedures and bylaws. Vera, you want that on the agenda? So this,
Sure.
Over to you.
Well, I got to thinking, oh wait just a minute. We're asking our voluntary boards to do training and have their procedures in place and whatnot. And so I started researching a little bit about us as a board, meeting bylaws and meeting procedures. I discussed it by email with Jeremiah, and he said, yes, we should have those. And I asked him he offered to help me get some copies of other counties to look at as a reference guide. And I have Teton counties, which I didn't get from him, but it's very good. They did an excellent job, but Jeremiah and I agreed they have some things in theirs. A bigger county, they have some different things to deal with that we don't, so ours wouldn't have to be quite this lengthy. He's going to get me some others to use as examples. And he emailed me back and said, after you brought this up, we've realized that we need copies of all those in our office, so would you give me a little bit? And I said, sure. But I made you copies of this one to look at and start thinking about. It covers just the procedures of your meetings and how we conduct ourselves. You know, I think it's important for accountability as a board and transparency with the public, so that there's actually a document that we can look at and refer back to. It has, you know, we probably put the statutes in there that we follow for our meetings, the statutes that the county clerk follow, what her responsibilities are in our meetings, when we make our decision about our meetings as a whole for the whole year, our scheduling, holiday scheduling, all those things. And he highly recommended that we do it. And it has to do with the Administrative Procedures Act. So it's not something that I just came up with. This is something that we should do for ourselves and for our constituents, so we have more transparency. So I thought I'd give you that, and maybe you can look it over, kind of see what's involved, and hopefully by maybe next time we meet, I'll have another one to look at. I would volunteer to type it up. It'll take some time, and then if we use some of these as reference guides to decide what we're going to put in them, and it's the initial part that's going to be kind of time consuming. Once we get it done, if you want to go back in and make changes every 5 years or so, whatever you want to do, that's fine, but the initial is going to take some time. But mostly it's the things we should be doing in the first place. If that makes any sense.
You know, you brought this up, I would be interested in how many counties don't even have them, you know, like.
I think
like
most do.
Yeah.
I think most do, according to what he said.
Yeah. Or, you know, we may have them, but they're so old and outdated that.
Yeah. Well, nobody'd ever said anything about it, so I figured we probably you're right, that they were either old and antiquated or we don't have them.
Yeah.
So this was filed in 2018, so I think it's a fairly new thing as far as that goes.
Okay. Take a look at and go over. Mr. Taylor.
I like the procedures on some of these, like looking at the second page, the following principles have been the foundation of the formation of these rules. One thing that I see that we've had our own issues with, that's clearly listed in here, it says commission's action should be the result of a decision on merits and not a manipulation of procedure rules. We've been in conflicts, even myself, with where we have not made decisions based because, well, we can't because there's procedure rules. Things should be, it should not delay the process of getting things done. It has to be posted, it has to be handled correctly, but it should not be manipulated to delay any procedures that may need to happen in the benefit of our constituents. So I think this is awesome, to be honest. Thank you.
Well, and I think even as if we have disagreements amongst ourselves, it will clearly give us a guidance towards what we need to do. And if constituents have questions about how our meetings are run or what we should be doing, this should be, once we have it done, this should be on the website as a public thing that people can look at and refer to if they have questions at what's going on in our meetings.
Yeah, if we do move forward, it will be actually a recorded document,
Mhm.
you know, on record. It'd be interesting, you know, counties smaller, you know,
Right,
similar
and
ones.
that's what Jeremiah is going to help me get a couple of those from smaller counties, so we can compare, because this is, like I said, this is quite lengthy. I don't think we need the beginning. They go into quite a bit of legal historical stuff
Yeah.
that maybe it's not a necessary thing. It's very nice, but and they clearly have some extra meetings we don't have, some different things that we don't have to deal with. So he's going to get those to me fairly soon, and then I'll get copies to everybody.
Okay.
And perhaps until we get those, we can just kind of, you be thinking about it, even maybe take this one and circle or highlight things that you feel are important, and then when we get another one, we can do a workshop to decide how we're going to go forward with it.
Red marker, green marker, something you like, put it green,
Right.
something we don't like,
Right.
put it red, just kind of go through that.
Because I think this one covers possibly everything. It's very, very thorough.
Yep.
Yes, very thorough. So,
Okay. Take that for advisement, and we'll go through and work with it. Keep it going that way.
thank you.
That's from Teton?
I'm sorry,
That one's from Teton?
Teton County.
Anything else on that? We'll move to the emails. Mr. Taylor.
So, first off, it's not to offend any commissioner or our county clerk, because they both do really good jobs at what they do, and I've supported Becky before. I support her again. Her experience is necessary. But we had controversy last meeting with things that can be added to the agenda or we can't add to the agenda. So I did take Commissioner Huber out, and then I took Nathan out. We did contact Jeremiah. There's no reason that something can't be added to the agenda, but it cannot be decided on in that particular meeting because it doesn't have the proper postings. For example, if something wants to be added to the agenda, it can be added to the agenda for discussion, but a decision can't be made or it can't be decided on until the next meeting when a proper posting is necessary. There's plenty of reasons that he gave us that things come up that they can be added to that agenda for discussion. And I think we as a board need to work together. I saw some of the emails, and I've been involved in these emails before, and frankly, there's just no reason for the back and forth. Honestly, and I called our county attorney on it, the county attorney does not decide what goes on our agenda, nor does the clerk. She prepares the agenda based on what's on it, but things can get added to it without being decided on. They can be moved to be put on the next agenda so that it can be properly posted. And that's exactly what I was told by Jeremiah. Is that incorrect?
It's correct.
There's just no reason to have bickering over an agenda. We put something on there, we discuss it. If it's valid, fine. We still move it to the next agenda to ratify it, to make that decision. And I think we all need to work together with that because, I've been accused of it too. And like I said, I've been a supporter of Becky. I will continue to be, that she does a good job. I'm also a supporter of Vera in the sense that we're all one team. Nobody's better than the other, but we do have certain job duties that are different from one another. Becky cannot do a commissioner's job or decide a commissioner's job, and I can't decide what Becky does, nor would I want to. She has a very full plate. I think we need to, as a board, decide if we want to add something to the agenda, that's fine, add it to the agenda, and then it can't be ratified until it's posted for the next agenda. Because I think we're missing out on some opportunities from constituents when they call and say, well, I didn't make it enough time to do it. And some of those are valid. She only has a certain amount of time to work with, and it's a pain in the butt to add it. I totally get that. But there's some things that we're kicking things down the road that don't need to be kicked down the road. We add it, just like we did today to this guy, and say, hey, let's get it on the next meeting, let's post it properly, and then we decide on it at that next board meeting. But those emails back and forth, I know personally, I'm not out to get Becky. I don't know, I haven't heard anyone say that, but she does a good job in what she does, so it just needs to be said. I've been in the middle of that stuff before. it's a foolish argument to get into it on these emails, and that's what it feels like it is. And I read them after the fact, and I'm like, why are we wasting time on this? That's it.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate you bringing it up. I wasn't gonna bring it up because I feel like I don't wanna make a big issue about it, but that's the second or third time that I've asked for something to be put on the agenda, and it seems like every time I try to put something on the agenda, I get flack for it, or I'm told no. One time, the excuse was you didn't want it on there, and this time it was the excuse that he didn't want it on there. I'm a commissioner just like you. I realize you're the chairman. If something I want to put on the agenda, if there's some reason it shouldn't go on the agenda, then I should hear that from you. I should hear that from you as the chairman, not from the county clerk. Becky says we're equals. Yes, we're both voted into office, but in this room, we are not equals. In this room, I'm a commissioner, and you're taking the minutes. Period. You do stuff for us in your office. I've never said you've done a bad job. Never. I tell people what a big job you have, and most of this has gone on your plate because over the years, the county commissioner says, ask the county clerk to do these things, and you do a good job of it. But the problem is, if I email something to you as a commissioner, and I'm told no, and especially this time, you asked Michael if I could put something on the agenda, that is unacceptable. For me as a commissioner, that is not your job, or your chore to do.
Okay. I'll add a little light to this. What that was brought up last week, I sat in this office with Clerk Hadlock, Treasurer Overman, and myself on a Zoom meeting with Mary that's putting on this training. Michael was on the Zoom from his office. Part of this discussion was, we didn't know what this procedure, what you were bringing up here. That's why I was asked to maybe do after this meeting, because that was a recommendation by Mary.
Then perhaps you should have called me and discussed it with me instead of leaving it in her hands and Michael's hands. You should have called me and said, can I ask you what this is about? Because I tried to bring it up at our last meeting. I tried to add it to the agenda. And I was shot down by Nathan and said, I can't add things to the agenda.
Which is,
So I accepted that. So then I call and legally say that I want it on the agenda, and I'm shot down again. And it's told that it's because Michael said something, and then I have to call poor Michael and be mad at him because I, as a commissioner, have the right to put something on the agenda. If you, as the chairman, have a question about what I'm putting on the agenda, you should call me. All those emails went to you.
Yeah.
You should have called me.
When I was drugged through it in the last 18 months by being on the front page of the newspaper almost every other week, I have gotten very gun shy about discussing anything outside of this room on the public record.
But you're the chairman, you have the right to call me on the phone and ask me a question as one of the other commissioners. It's a simple question.
Our former chairman got drugged through the coals too.
We've all called each other with questions. That's legal. You can call me with a question, it's just you and I as a chair, or you could email me and said, can I ask you, if you wanted a legal paper trail, you could have emailed me and asked me what I was bringing to the meeting.
Well, I get that.
And that's not her job, and it's not Michael's job. And when I get an email that says, I can't put something on the agenda because Becky and Michael decide I can't, that's unacceptable.
Quick comment here, and I understand the situation, maybe less involved personally with it, but trying to find maybe an answer that could appease most of us or everyone. We all have to approve the agenda before we accept it. Would there be an issue unless there's a time frame involved with the topic before we approve the agenda, just like Commissioner Taylor had added to new business this discussion of the emails. Can we add it to the new business at that moment, and then it would be in the public, it's on public record, and you don't have to ask for anyone's approval to
Well, you were
apply that to the
gone.
agenda.
You were gone and asked to add it to the agenda. And Nathan said no.
Outside a public meeting,
No, in our last meeting.
at the meeting.
At the meeting,
So you wanted to put something in new business and.
yes.
Mm.
And so then I waited till the next meeting and sent an
Oh, so
email
that's the
to
way
add
that you
it.
did approach it?
Yes.
Oh, well, I would assume that as long as you asked to apply before the agenda was approved, to put it in new business, what the reasoning behind that would be by not putting it.
Well,
I
I'm
don't
just
know.
asking, we need more
What do you
communication.
think, Michael?
And it doesn't need to go through Becky.
I mean-
If you have if you were discussing my adding that to the agenda, then you should have discussed it with me.
Today we had that discussion, that wasn't even, the agenda wasn't even brought up. That it was, this was a pending topic you had out there, and Mary had made the suggestion, wait until after the board training.
So why did you let Mary make the suggestion and just assume that what I wanted to put on the agenda, you all assumed you knew what I was bringing to the agenda. And frankly, after me getting shot down, putting it on the agenda last time, everybody should have known what it was. But I'm asking, since it's not the first time it's happened, and I send all the emails to you also as the chairman, I expect communication from you if there's some reason you don't want to put it on the agenda.
Okay.
Because otherwise, it becomes an argument between Becky and I shouldn't have to argue with the county clerk as a commissioner when I want to put something on the agenda. That's unacceptable. It's disrespectful.
Point taken.
And I really think, as a whole, we need more communication about things like that. It's not illegal for you to send out an email communication about things. We're not making a decision. That would be day-to-day things.
It was attempted to make it a problem in the lawsuit that we just got out of on doing day-to-day stuff. That's why there's a lot of, that's why I'm gun shy of a lot of it, because of that. Commissioner Taylor.
Absolutely agree that could have caused you to be gun shy, but you're not in anywhere compared to our former chair who stepped into many of those things on her own account. And that's well documented in the minutes, and all of the people on the board, including the clerk, had issues with some of the way that she handled those things. So you're not being judged on her. It was miserable at times for all of us, because different things were going on, but that shouldn't affect our communication with each other. And I agree with Vera in the sense that she did tell us what it was for, and this has nothing to do with our board training, and so it shouldn't have been an issue if that's what it was referring to.
And in the past, we've had things want to be put on the agenda. The people expect us to make, the public expect us to make a decision that day without the
Proper notice.
proper notice or being able to research it to make it.
Which we cleared up, just so you know, that we can't make a decision on it
Yeah.
without proper notice, but we can talk about it and bring it up
Yeah.
in discussion. There was no reason why we couldn't do that.
Well, and just as an example, the last meeting after I asked and was told no, then Aaron came in with 4-H and just wanted to be talked to. You know, you have to follow those rules for everyone.
Well, and we
And
shut her
so-
down when she wanted to make.
We did, but it's not the first time that that's happened. And so I'd appreciate if everybody's treated the same too.
Okay.
So thank you, Don.
You're welcome. I didn't do anything, but yeah.
Everything's been duly noted, we'll try to do it. We will do that, we're not trying to,
Thank
we
you.
will do that. Thank you. Is there anything else under that?
Nope, that was it.
Okay.
Again, I think they both do exceptional jobs at what they do, so.
Next is the Barton Road extension. You're up, Michael.
I think it's ready to go. We have the survey, we have the plat,
Sign clock.
sign
Plat.
plat, even, yeah.
So,
Don't forget that, yeah.
our next step is going to be set up a public hearing, public comment session.
I believe so.
Before we get that.
You have that survey done, let me just double check. Guideline, the handbook. Jim already viewed it, right? And then, yeah, so we got the survey done, we got the plat, right? So then next we have to publish notice.
For a public hearing.
I can run you. I'll show you this. It's under the statute.
For 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we publish it in the newspaper for 2 weeks, and then the notice be mailed by registered mail to all persons owning lands or claiming any interest in the lands over or across which road is proposed to be altered. And then the timeline for anybody to object to that. And there's a process for that. So yeah, that's the next step, is getting that publication notice in.
So publish before the notices go out, certified notices?
Same time, basically. And publish it simultaneously and send out the notice. Yeah.
That way all the people that certified notifications go out to people, that way they are 100% aware that there's going to be the public hearing. What we do.
Well, they have a timeline to object to the.
Yeah, that's why we can do them simultaneously. We do have a list of all the landowners.
Well, we can get that for her. So does that come from you?
I have the form here I can give you. I know it. Yeah. And how it's supposed to be done.
So do we need to set up a date for a public hearing today? We put them all on notifications and advertise them.
I'm just making sure here. These some of the statutes are funny.
Okay.
I think it'd probably be good just to get a public hearing set. Maybe a month out.
So like maybe the July 18th meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 weeks ahead of time, get all everything ready to go, get advertised 2 weeks ahead of time.
So we're gonna have 2 things that day. We'll have our budget hearing.
Oh. Okay.
We'll meet the
17th.
17th for our public hearing on the budget. Or no, we'll we'll just approve it. We won't have another hearing.
Yeah, we don't have to have the
No,
hearing
we'll
on
have
the,
our hearing the 17th.
We'll have our hearing
We'll
on
just
the-
approve it on the 18th.
I'll have our public hearing on 17th.
Yeah.
We just
We could
approve
do it
it.
at 10.
Okay,
Right.
whatever works. Be the second meeting, so we won't have vouchers and stuff, so. Yeah, I'll do it at 10. 10 a.m. on the 18th.
That should give us enough time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if we can get the notice out
So we've already missed the deadline for this week's paper. So we'll do it next week.
next week.
The next week.
And that'll still, well,
And then do the certified letters.
So we're doing our ban on the 17th.
let's make sure.
Is that-
We're doing our ban on the 17th. Budget approval meeting. Is that what you're saying? I'm sorry, budget approval meeting. Ban. Yeah.
No.
Spam was reminding me of the shredding. I'm like,
Budget approval
when do
meeting.
we reschedule those?
That'll be on Monday evening, our
Right.
public hearing.
But that's the 17th, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be on 17th.
Let's see.
Because you just called
Because after we
today.
have that meeting, we have so many.
I thought it was ban, you know. Budget approval meeting.
That's Patrick.
So you guys are deciding to make this a public road, right? Or
Yes.
extend it.
That's what we're,
Yeah, not make it, extend it. So you're making that, assuming you guys are gonna make that motion today, right? You should.
You couldn't tell
Yeah, you should, and then it says not less than 30 days after that determination, so it probably should be that first week in August.
them. Also, it can't be that.
Yeah.
We're not talking about-
Can't be the 18th?
No,
Okay.
because that's only
So it has
20.
to be 30 days from today.
Yeah.
so it'll be the August 1st meeting. August 1st.
That's also when you guys sign vouchers, is it not?
Still through 10. Got some new stuff
I
around.
have a question about it.
Yes.
So you want us to make a motion to do it today, but we have a public hearing on August 1st.
Yeah, it's a motion to determine that you're gonna make this road extension and direct the clerk to publish notice.
But what if the public hearing shows that it's something we shouldn't do? I mean, I don't understand why we're making a motion to do it and then have a public hearing.
Because
Help me out.
you're making the motion to, based on the plat and
You gotta
the
ratify it
survey.
first.
Yeah. So then you're deciding to do it, you publish it, everybody gets a chance to object,
Okay,
and then they get those 30 days.
Public hearing allows
We
public
can't-
comment and you come to
Isn't it a
objections.
motion to move forward with the process?
Yeah, motion to establish this extension.
Yeah, are we talking about the Barton Road?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I have one till 11:30 on
Yeah.
the thing I missed.
No,
We
we're,
started it there, since Mr. Ranger Rob hadn't showed up or anything, had you guys heard from the Forest Service that they're all hunky-dory with the trespass part across them of this road?
we really haven't heard much of anything from him.
Yeah, well, just my opinion, but I think you'd want to have that all straight before the county did anything.
Yeah,
Road and Bridge has already gotten that taken care of.
They have something all signed and,
Okay.
okay, that's the main reason.
So, we need basically a motion to move forward with the Barton Road extension.
I make a motion to move forward with the Barton Road extension.
to establish the Barton
To
Road
To
establish.
establish. the
as
Barton-
stated as provided in the survey and the plat.
that.
As provided in the survey and the plat.
Second.
We have a motion, properly second, to move forward with the Barton Road extension according to the survey and the plat. Is that how we want to work that?
Survey on the plan.
On the plat, okay. This is the first time I've been involved with one of these, so. New order for all of us.
Gary seconded. Oh, Gary.
Garrett seconded.
Is there any other discussion on that matter? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Motion carried. So, Michael and Becky work together to get that certified letter sent out and the ads put in the paper so you can have that. Public hearing.
Sounds good.
Okay. Anything else on the Bartlett extension? And we'll move on to the proposal from Vault side from Michael.
All right, always fun stuff going on. So I don't think we need to go through the whole history again because we did, a couple months ago on the Vault side and the profit sharing. I'm sure everybody remembers that discussion. The board, you guys, on your direction, I offered to share the profit sharing now under the contract, which is an unusual contract, but it's 50%. No, it was 50%. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's been a long morning. Sorry.
Yeah.
So they say after a comprehensive review of Vault Side's financial position. Let me just see here.
Michael's looking that up. What that is, Vault side is our online data sharing of all the records that we've had scanned in that are on the web now.
Well, while he's looking stuff up, I just had a question. Well, Karen Drill sends me way too many emails, but there's a meeting in a couple of days that public hearing or something, like 10:30. Is that with the fair thing? Or does that ring a bell with anybody?
Oh,
Here on the
Thursday
20th?
Thursday, yeah.
at 10.
So there's a public hearing on Fair Board matters.
Oh, okay, fair board. Okay, yeah, didn't say this there's a hearing.
Fair Board matters.
The other one is mysterious.
So I'm looking at this, Becky. I think it.
No,
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I thought it was 50. We offered 35. So. Anyway. I'm just making sure I'm not contract. We started this in February, didn't we?
It was early this year we started that this came up.
Because it took them a lot of threatening to shut the services off. And us saying, no, you can't do that. Anyway, so they have come back and have offered a proposed share percentage of 15% in an amended month-to-month agreement. So, and I can look at the legal stuff, but Clerk Hadlock would know more about the ins and outs of this thing than I would. it's going to cost. What she tells me is it's going to cost a ton to start over, and they, you know, I think, and if they just shut the service off, we're going to be in instant litigation. So I don't know, Clerk Hadlock, how long do you think it would take for that 15% to recoup the funds?
Well, it's gonna take a long time, but if they shut it down, it's gonna cripple us. The assessor's office uses it constantly. We have customers that use it constantly. It's very beneficial for landmen, banks, title companies who don't have to drive clear across the state to look up one document. They can get online, pay whatever they charge their hourly rate or their one-time fee. Some people buy the yearly fee rather than having to drive all the way here to look up one document or to pay the title company to come and look it up. Like I said, the assessor's office, because we are in partners with Vaultside, the county entities can use it for free. We do get on there and look up stuff. The assessor's office, rather than come and spend hours standing at our counter, they get in there and they can look up stuff right off of the website. If we were to start completely over with a different company, they would have to come in, spend 6 months like Vaultside did, scanning every book, putting it into the system again. We would have to pay that company the $50,000 or whatever we had to pay Vaultside in the beginning. It would cost us a lot to have to start over.
My question is for Michael here on this. Will we pay to have those documents scanned? Are those our property or are they their Vaultside's property? I know the documents themselves are ours, but where they've been scanned, where would that fall under?
Just looking at this contract to make sure. I believe, first impression, I believe it's the county's property.
So if they went to the wayside and disappeared, we should still be able to have all the scanned documents from them. Would we not?
And we do have them, they are on a jump drive. But whether another company can take that image or whether they're encrypted, I don't know.
Okay, they may be.
Yeah, and it'd still take all the work to get it back up, get all that information back up.
And whether another company would take someone else's scanned product and put that on their website, I don't know how that works.
What percentage were we at with them before?
I was thinking 35%. Michael said he thought it was 50%.
This contract says 60.
I don't think we ever got 60%, but I can look.
Oh, so they're only wanting to share 15% with us instead of the big amount that they were. Okay.
Yeah.
I was looking at it the other way, that they was, okay.
No.
Sorry, I went in circles, so I probably wasn't as clear as I should have been with that. Yeah. So then after, I believe the first meeting in May or the last meeting in April, we countered it at 35. And then in the interest of what we were just talking about, now they've countered back at 15%.
And I don't know if we would still want to try and renegotiate that price. We just don't want them to shut us off.
I guess my question, before, how long was the agreement for? How many years? Do you remember?
It wasn't the best contract. It just
But
sort of
month to month scares me more than the 15%. I guess if we were going to counter back, I would rather counter back like a year at 15% instead of month to month.
Be locked in.
Yeah, be locked in with them so they can't, I mean, you can agree to anything, but 30 days from now, they might go under and then we're back to square one.
So the problem with this is that it had an initial term of 1 year in 2018, but then it didn't talk about any subsequent terms. And this is not like like an apartment you're renting or anything, so it's very unclear what the terms were. what the term was after that first year. So I agree. I think even more than a year term would probably, because you want to recoup as much of that money back as
I
possible.
would like it to be even longer than a year. The initial contract was terrible. Like, I would like Michael to write a really ironclad contract so that even if we're at 15%, the contract is long enough to recoup what we put into it. That was the whole initial plan, because Weston County was the first one to do what they did with Waldside. But as of right now, we're not even close to recouping what we put into it.
My question that I had was what do we have for leverage for negotiation, or are we just at the mercy? Because if they say, if you're not going to accept 15, then we'll just discontinue the service. Is that where it's at?
Yeah.
So we're just asking them.
Well, unless you want to be in litigation over it.
Right.
See, I guess I'd like to see a contract that if we do the 15%, it's got some leverage to us. If they go under, they pay us the balance that we haven't recouped yet, you know, and some kind of long term in there that they just can't shut us off.
Yeah.
How did we get, was this some kind of boilerplate contract? How did we get, I mean, we're all saying this contract is garbage. Why did we enter into it?
I don't know who made the contract.
It was Jill was the clerk and William Curley was the county attorney at the time.
Do we have a dollar amount on what we've recouped?
I'll look, because they're supposed to still be giving us a monthly check, and they haven't sent us a check for quite some time.
Since like April?
Yeah, it's been a while.
So we're asking them for 15% over a year?
No, they do monthly.
Okay, so a month.
But when they initially came, they came and scanned all of the books, and they haven't been back since. The way they get our images is every day I download them, our images,
Right.
via the email. So they don't do anything.
Well,
Our girls scan everything every day. We scan all of our documents, and then the documents that they need to upload, I send them to them.
my question is though, is if we're not even getting checks with the contract that we have, how are we expecting to get anything to make up for what we haven't gotten, or how are we gonna?
Yeah, they're supposed to. They have an agreement with Michael that they'll continue as is until we reach an agreement.
So I'm looking at, Becky sent me over the October 2022 profit share. And I don't know if that's a regular month or not. Is it pretty steady? All right. And the Weston County net profit was around $3,076. And what the initial cost was $100,000.
I'll double check, because I have a running total of what we started with, and then it's decreasing of what they still owe us. Or not what they owe us, because they don't owe us anything, but what, until we hit what we profited.
Recoup our investment.
Yeah.
If we go down to 15%, and just so you guys know, it's like $600 a month, which is what, $7,200 a year. So it'll take a while. I think they.
So a year we'd be making what we were making in 2 months.
Yeah, but they, I thought you had told me at one point that they had paid it about half of it back at this point, at that rate before. So it's going to take another 7 years.
I agree with Chairman Wagner and actually all of them that we need to have some type of mechanism to recoup what they sounds to me like they're on shaky ground.
Yeah.
To recoup what we paid in that new contract and go with the 15%.
Well, and even for what it provides, I understand that the resource is definitely valuable, but we're investing in a lot by us scanning all the documents. I mean, we are continuing their business at our expense to benefit from it at that portion. So I think that we asked for 35, right? That was what we had asked for, and they countered with 15. obviously would benefit them as well, still going to receive the scanned documents, and those will be uploaded to them, which is a continuance of them when they really don't have to do anything. But we do.
Right.
We have to scan them anyway.
Well, we scan them into Doc Pro, which is our system that we use, and then from Doc Pro, I'm able to send them to them daily.
So,
But that is how they upload them onto their system because I email them to them.
so we will still do this daily scanning.
Yeah, daily
We'll still do
scanning
the
is
daily
done
scanning. It's just what we
regardless.
upload to their. So,
But they're profiting
Huge.
off of doing
You're their
nothing.
workers. Yeah.
But because it's on their site and that site is beneficial to everyone that has come accustomed to using it, not only our employees,
Good deal for
but
It is.
the
For them,
public.
it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And just remember this all came up because they claim they're going bankrupt or.
Without saying they were going
Yeah.
in a nonchalant.
So would we be smart to counter the, again, doing your theory, going, okay, you said we want 35 or we want 15, so we'll settle at 20 and do the
At least at 25. The only thing that makes me nervous is that they wanted the decision by a day, and I said, well, I need to have to talk to the board first. So they gave us till the 30th. I don't know. They've threatened to shut it off. What, 4 times now at least? I just don't know how real of a threat that is.
well, kind of, yeah. That threat sounds kind of open, pretty weak on them because they discontinue it. They just cut their revenue source off.
But can they take our images and still be charging customers to? I mean, because they have, from the time Weston County was established until last night when I uploaded them their last documents, can they continue to charge customers? Like the current customers that they already have, can they still charge them to basically get our documents from them?
You mean if they terminate the contract?
Yeah, if we no longer upload to them, they still have all of our documents on their
No, I
website.
think that would be a breach of that contract. Yeah.
This might be a little bit out there, but is there, do we have copyright on our documents? You know, that would be, I would be concerned about that too. In this new contract is the copyrights all go to us, not to them. So if they kick us to the curb, they still can't use our documents for profit.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That is a good point. Here's that paragraph 8 of that contract. Weston County owns all right, title, and interest, including all intellectual property rights to the Weston County data.
So if they go under, or if they kick us to the curb with no contract, they can't use our documents for profit. According to the original contract
Yeah.
that is expired though. So do we want to make a counter offer to them, or we offered at 35
And they took the 15.
and they come at 15, split the middle at 25.
Was there any reasoning that they countered at 15, or did they just throw a number out?
The reasoning was a comprehensive review of their financial position.
So they just threw the.
Formal way of saying no.
Well, that's why I said, the leverage for negotiation is not in our field.
That's the only thing I'm worried about. We have this deadline. I just don't know if they're just gonna. I mean, I think they have some liability issues too with this contract, how it is, and if they just shut everything off. But I just don't know if you guys want to be in litigation over this. So.
What were we receiving? What was the percentage on the prior contract?
Like 60%.
That's what we were receiving.
that we were receiving. Now they're wanting to only give us 15%.
From the original 60
Yeah.
that we were getting from, they were charging for those documents, and then we received 60% of whatever they charged initially.
Because this one from October of 2022, it's almost, they grossed, math is not my strong point. The gross was 4,000, Weston County received 3,000.
2,400.
That was 75% that month, so no.
So see, they don't even know what they're doing.
I don't,
Because it doesn't even say in that contract that we were getting 75%. Does it say in that contract though that they'll come back and rescan our stuff? Like they're the ones that are supposed to be scanning on the,
it sounds too loosey-goosey. Those numbers don't have enough validity to them to even counter. I understand the countering process, but
I swore it said 35%.
yeah,
No, that's where we went at last time.
I mean, yeah, you can always have things. I mean, the question is where's the line of them discontinuing the service? That's what we're trying to determine.
Have we talked to any other companies that do this, or is no other companies that do
There is
this?
one,
Yeah.
IDOC,
Well, IDOC, and then there's another guy who came in here right after I started, and he gave us a quote. I think it was 50 or 60,000. It's almost as much as the original price of Vault Site. But I mean, why would we want to do it all again?
I'm just was asking if there's anyone else that does this, or they kind of have us over a barrel.
I know,
Just
and I think they know that.
just by guessing about how much of that 50,000 do we have recouped? Was it 50?
Hold on, let me go.
I mean, to get an idea. I mean, because this has been a while. You said back in William, so we've got quite a few years involved.
the agreement's dated November 19th, 2018.
18 years, 5 years. So I'm gonna say we have probably better than half, huh?
I think so.
About 72 a year.
Well, that'd be under the 15%.
Well, it was
Oh,
100,000
oh, it was
altogether.
60. It was 100 together.
I think it was 100 altogether, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like 100,000, 60 money. We give up front. Basically it wasn't all at once, but
Oh, that's
we had an
it.
investment of $100,000 to get all our documents scanned into their system, and they were paying us back. That was the selling point is we could recoup our money back and have the convenience to having all our documents online, that easy.
At a 60% payback rate on sold documents.
Here's something to throw at them in the new contract. We want 40%, so we recouped our initial investment. Then we take 15 or 10%. That way we're covered to get our money back, and it makes it more lucrative for them on the other end to keep the business going.
I like something like that a lot better.
I agree.
Because there's a basis and an explanation for the numbers that we're presenting, and I don't really, other than their financial status.
And then they'd still have, free work and
Right.
make a bunch of money.
It's like going to your boss and say, I need a raise because I overspend. Oh, well.
Be good to know
Is
what
that
Becky
my fault?
finds out on those numbers.
Yeah, let's get those numbers from Becky, and then
And it sounds very unprofessional to do a month-to-month contract on something like this.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't
I'd be.
make any sense at all.
It shows us being desperate. That's what it shows us.
And I would feel, it's a 5-year contract, at least going into a 5-year contract, something that's.
Has some teeth in it.
A 5-year might put us about what we're talking, if I'm just guessing on the numbers.
It'd be about 10 years in from start.
So as of February 2023, remaining is $70,954. Because the original cost was $125,000. As of February of 2023, we've recouped $54,000.
In 5 years. At 60%.
Whatever that was.
Or whatever.
That-
Higher.
That 1 month must have been a high month then, huh? Yeah.
That might have been
So-
the month when all their annuals.
So, well, some
Subscriptions can
months,
do.
yeah, some months they would not pay us, and then some months a couple checks would come in.
I think, wasn't it March that they only paid like $1,200 or something?
Let's see, like January of 2022, we got a check for $8,573. But that's when their yearly ones would come in. Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason in February they only paid $1,300.
$1,204.
Did that have the additional percentage on there? What we were receiving, what was percentage was?
I would have to look.
Oh.
See, and I don't know why that one had 75%.
I got it. So it's 60% per page, 80% for subscriptions. Yeah. This one says $228.23, $1,296. That's a different number than you just told me.
Well, even by presenting the option that Commissioner Wagner brought up, it's still only asking if they said, hey, we're not gonna service you guys for anything more than that. Otherwise, we're dropping it. Then, I mean, where's the line of litigation come in? I mean, do we got an idea anywhere there, or do we just say, okay, Tenzin, in order to have the service remain, we're going to accept that? I mean,
Well,
just asking.
I don't like
I don't like it.
the bad, worst case scenario, I don't like the outcome of this. You know, because we're gonna be without a service.
Right.
We decided the board, we need to direct Michael on how we want the terms of the contract.
Yeah, because
Because we were at 60% per page and 80 on subscriptions, the way we were going, and if we just throw it in there, if we want 40% of page and subscriptions until we're recouped, and then you get, after that, we'll drop it down to 10%, you take 90% off of to keep the subscription service going. That's less than the 15% they offered
once
that
the-
way, but it helped, if you do it that way, it'll get us, start to make sure we get recouped back quicker. Either way, it's gonna be a long-term deal to recoup the
Right. What would be their motivation in accepting that offer?
Knowing they got 90% of the subscription fees come to them after we got our money recouped.
When they pretty much already offered us 85.
No, they offered us 15.
15, maybe
Yeah,
85.
they were wanting 85. This will give 90 after we're recouped. I mean, what I think is, you know, is the main is we get our money recouped.
Yeah, the idea is perfect. I mean, I like the idea, I just don't see their motivation in accepting that. I mean, I'd just stand the ground at 35, if anything.
Make sure they realize that we do it all. I mean, we do all of them.
Right.
I'm sure they're aware.
Well,
Their
they
whole
probably-
company is based off of that.
But they probably see it in the background as they're still uploading it to their website. They're doing the behind the scenes that we're not seeing probably, I guess. I don't know.
Decision time, board.
I think they threw the counter in there just to see where we would actually be willing to move to. I don't think that they would be unwilling to accept the 35 still, because they were paying around the 60 mark, and that's almost half of where they were.
I like Ed's tiered idea. It's a good idea. And then drop it down. I just think we figure out the high number, and then 15 at the end's fair. Well, not really. It's workable once the money's recouped. But
I like that too, if it was accepted, if it was accepted by them, but I don't see where they would be willing to do that. I mean, we're 5 years into this already, and we got 54,000 paid back at that percentage. So by accepting even a 40, we're probably looking at the other 75, right? At the other 75, I mean, we're 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Just to get recouped at that. Interesting. We're at their mercy, and I don't like that scenario.
So what's the board's pleasure? Move forward with it.
I think we should I like the tiered, at least the effort for it. They can always refuse it, so we can recoup our money. But I agree, I don't think they're gonna take it. They don't have to, really. There's nothing that's gonna force them to do it. And then we look at it again, but it's worth the effort to see if they'll take the bite at the end instead of.
and then see, and then that's discussion.
Yeah.
So, if you were to put that into a motion, what did you mention earlier? Ed, you were talking to 40%
40,
offer.
we take 40% till we recoup, and then drop it down even to a 10%.
But that would be the-
With an initial time frame of at least 5 years, maybe 10.
But at least 5+ years. That can be negotiated. We want at least a 5-year contract. Or more.
So say a 5-year contract and saying that until we recoup our fund,
Well,
or do,
if for some reason we recoup our funds sooner, which we won't, it would drop down to that. And in 5 years, the 40 and 10% will be renegotiable.
Who knows, in 5 years, things may be completely
Yeah.
different, and we won't need this service, who knows?
Yeah.
here's a thought, they could raise their prices.
I was just gonna say that.
Then our fund would go up
I'm
faster.
questioning,
Well-
I'm wondering if they have on the other end increased their prices for the service.
I like that idea.
Or if they're just trying to get it from us.
Still offered, I'm sorry,
No, that's okay.
the service is still offered. They're gonna pay a higher price for the documents that they don't have to drive across the state for and everything. That would be a better idea.
But we don't have control of that.
We don't.
And that might be in the counter offer, is they need to raise their subscription fees. Because ask them if they raised their subscription fees in the last 8 years.
I can do that. I just know, being a member that uses, I used IDOC before, but in Bighorn Imaging, that's a nightmare. But
That is wall side.
oh,
Bighorn Imaging is what they started out as,
Oh,
and then
okay,
they switched to
okay.
vault side.
Well, the
It's the
thing,
same thing.
I just don't know how to run it. Maybe it's not a nightmare. Maybe I just don't know how to run the thing. But because I was so used to IDOC, but they charge you like even if you search wrong and can't find it, I still got charged for a search.
That's this company.
Yeah.
So
So-
chances are they have considered that before then. They're probably living max.
I don't know if you've had that experience, but
I don't know how to run it. I'll
okay.
teach you.
So it's not the program; it's the operator.
Operator error.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and I think, the companies that use it, I don't think they would be against a increase from vault side on their raise, because it saves them so much money by not having to travel to search documents. You're talking to oil company or oil man or lease hounds that use it. It's like, it's great. We can go do all this work. We don't even have to leave home.
Because when they did shut it down, we had so many calls.
If they're financially in dire straits, it's not gonna matter what we offer them.
Yeah.
It's not gonna dig them out of the hole, and we're just gonna have to deal with it, I guess.
Well, I would question just how financial insecure they really are, or is that just a ploy to try to get the rates better for them?
I think so. I don't know. They got some high-priced lawyer out of Chicago or something.
So we're back to what are we gonna do?
I make a motion to do the tiered offer of 40% until we recoup our bill, and then drop it down to 10% after that. Starting with a 5-year contract, it can be renewed at that point and renegotiated if I don't know. That's your job. What else? What else? And to give Michael a little bit of carte blanche to put in the legal phrases necessary to make it a pretty tight contract. Because that's not something I understand.
Oh.
It's on you.
Attorneys love when they get carte blanche. We love that.
We probably should see it before you said it. But
Perfect.
got it?
Got it.
Okay.
Okay, Vera moved to offer 40% until we recoup our bill, then lower it to 10% with a 5-year contract, and then negotiate it. Give the county attorney, have the county attorney put legal terms in to make it a tight contract.
Yes, thank you.
That's how I heard it.
Okay, me too.
I'll second that.
Okay, I'll go back to these tapes, make it
I just wanted to
perfect.
Okay. We have a motion, properly seconded, to move forward with a 40% contract until our money's recouped, drop it down to a 10% with a 5-year term on the contract. In a nutshell. Becky's got the rest of it.
Got it.
Any other discussion?
I just want to make sure before you vote, like, again, they said in the last email, tell us by the 20th or we're shutting you off. Now it's tell us by the 30th or we're shutting you off. No, that's a risk. But they've said that several times now too, so it's a risk out there that they could just on the 30th shut it off if we don't just accept them.
I think it's a bluff.
And you can attack them.
We'll stick Michael on.
Any offer and counter offer, you can always go back and say, okay, we'll take your deal.
Yeah, we just don't have another commissioners meeting before the 30th, so.
Is there any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Anything else needs to come before the board?
Oh,
You have to tell them that.
oh, are we talking about Thursday? Oh, okay, yeah. Told you it was a rough morning. So I've been in good cordial communication with the board member lately.
Third board member?
The fair board member, and we got that additional information that we talked about, and we sent it to the investigator. And well, first of all, as Susan said, as it was indicated, there's a lot of stuff to download and look through. Proper process was to give it to the investigator and have them see if there's any different conclusions. I don't have anything amending necessarily their investigative report. And based on that, I think the fair board member has a right to understand the whole position before we proceed. I did talk to the fair board member the last couple of days, and it's been cordial, and he'll agree to, in the interest of him having the ability to look at everything, to once again push this out. But he's good with it. It's just due process for him.
So you're saying
We're not doing the meeting on the 4th?
we're not having a public hearing on?
I think in the interest of due process, and the investigator taking, a while, that we need to make sure his rights are looked after too.
Does that mean the public hearing would be off?
Yes.
So you are making an official statement that the public hearing is off.
I think that's a recommended course of
Yeah.
action, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And we'll have to, and I've been on the investigator's tail like a lot, so perhaps that first week in July we can just get over with.
What did we find out about all their bills?
I talked to Employers Council and they are good with holding them off until you're finished with this. Or you know what can be done with them.
Okay.
If we need to go, if we're stuck with them, or we go after the other party.
Yeah. I thought he meant the amounts.
No,
No, well, I was talking about the ones that you said weren't legit, probably.
The
You
one
were
that
gonna
looked like
contact
it's
them.
doubled.
Yeah, they look.
yeah, they're holding off till you can either
Yeah.
talk to them or whatever.
Can you put a little urgency on the investigators on this so we can get this closed?
Yeah.
I agree.
Because is it back to the Employers Council now, their investigator?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell them, time is getting be of the essence. It's drug on way too long.
Wait.
Okay.
Do we need to make a motion about that, or is his recommendation?
This is kind of uncharted waters to me. I've never been in one, I've never had one of these. We need to make a motion that
I think that's the safer way to go about it, yeah.
that we are canceling the public hearing
Or postpone.
Postpone.
postponing. Okay, well, yeah, postpone.
With the agreement of the fair board member.
I'll make a motion to postpone public hearing with the consent of the fair board member until whatever date, until further notification of the next public hearing.
I second that.
We have a motion properly seconded to postpone the public hearing in regards to the fair board member to a later date, pending Employers Council investigation. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. We're ahead of schedule till Michael got on board.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks.
All right, we will see everybody back at 1:15 for our budget stuff.